climbing the summit is like the summit of your life, you know? It's like, where are you going? And it's kind of funny because I feel like if you ever do reach that summit, you just get a new mountain. You don't really stop. And a lot of people do say that. And I've been realizing the truth of that matter over and over again. So like there's little micro mountains and little big mountains, and then big, big mountains. So in the big mountain of my life, my summit is, like I said, is knowing absolutely everything.
Hey, what's up, Neeraj? How are you, bro?
NA. What's up, dog?
Hey, man. Just excited to be on the call with you today, man. Good to see you. Good to know that you're all right, that you're healthy. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good. I'm getting that healthy part back. You know,
Tell- What you mean?
I need to get more straight with my health. I need to start like I can just tell. It's harder for me to wake up in the mornings. I'm waking up more dehydrated. I still have good stamina throughout the day. Like once I'm going, I'm going. But like, it takes me a long time to get 0 to 60. You know,
Nah.
so I need to get my horsepowers up. You know, so I've been cleaning up my food. I've been cutting back the drinking a lot. But it's still lingering. So I'm doing good though. All in all, I'm on the right path. Just need to
Hey,
crank some more.
the fact that you are so aware of where you are in the mornings and throughout the day is like, that's big ups, man.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I can I wake up, bro. I know like it's just in all honesty, like I wake up and I am in suffering mode. I'm like, this is fucked. This is not how I should be waking up. I'm waking up, my chest hurts, I feel sad. I feel like I don't want to get out of bed. I shouldn't be waking up like this. I shouldn't happen. So something's happened. Something's gotta happen. Because this ain't
Hey,
happening no more.
hey, I love the fact that you, like I said, that you're aware of it and that you're looking in that direction of how to make those things more palatable in your life, bro.
Thank you.
Man, Neeraj,
Thank you.
like before we get too far in the podcast, I would love for you to speak to who you are and just let the people know who you are before we get into it, man.
Hmm. All right, sure, brother. You know, it's always a lot to say, and it's interesting when people ask because I don't always know what to say. I'm sure you deal with the same thing
Every time.
every time, man. And I know you got the whole life enjoyment coach thing going, and that is a pretty good descriptor. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty good. And I'm trying to figure out what really fits me and what really encapsulates what I do. As you know, like my Instagram handle is the Great Connector because I'm obsessed with knowing how everything works and figuring that out, including myself. You know, like we talk about like my morning routine and how I feel. So really, all in all, I would call myself a speaker and a coach. And my job is really just to figure out how life works in any foundational facet. Like, so I want to know the blueprint. How does the fundamental foundation of reality work? How can we figure out the laws and rules that nature follows? And then how can we abide by those in our own life? And that just creates happiness because, you know, if nature takes the path of least resistance and it happens to be always present, perfect harmony, changing of seasons like clockwork. That means that humans, as a part of nature, got to be a part of that sequence too. So I'm trying to figure out that personal sequence for me, and then teach other people how to do that for themselves as best as I can. So we all have this rhythm that we're trying to find, and that's where the magic's at. So I basically help people understand their life, why things happen the way that they do, why they are the way that they are, and that's only possible because I'm obsessed with knowing why I do what I do and why I am the way that I am. So I'm just wanting to just dude who wants to know it all, you know?
Neeraj, I love what you're saying there, man. And it's a little bit of how this podcast got started, right? We call it Climbing the Summit, and we're essentially looking at how people climb their own individual mountains, that learning curves, whatever word or verbiage that you out there want to put around that. Um,
Yeah.
But what's been really fascinating and what's been really uplifting is hearing how people's journeys have been going, how they got started, where they see it, where what that ultimate summit is, which you spoke to a little bit there as we were coming in. And I'm just curious to know where you are on your personal climb.
Ah, man. I really thought I was higher up the mountain than I was, bro.
Tell
That's
me about
that's
it. Yeah.
that's some real shit right there. So climbing the summit is like the summit of your life, you know? It's like where are you going? And it's kind of funny because I feel like if you ever do reach that summit, you just get a new mountain. You don't really stop. And a lot of people do say that. And I've been realizing the truth of that matter over and over again. So like there's little micro mountains and little big mountains, and then big mountains. So in the big mountain of my life, my summit is like I said, is knowing absolutely everything. And I can't do that by myself, but I want to create this kind of lifestyle and ecosystem and family where me and Big Daddy G, God, are real tight. And we're really just in the pocket together in the flow, being one. And I feel divinely guided. I feel like I'm exactly where I need to be in life. And then that shows up in the fruits of my labors. My lifestyle and my world physically can reflect that. My relationships can reflect that. There's really nothing else to me like worth living if you're not going to strive for perfection. And I don't mean that perfection in the state of like being a narcissist or a dick about it. I mean, like perfection as what is your highest ideal? Like, what were you born to be and what could you be? And that's something that just pulls me all the time. So that's my summit right there is what's the divine perfection look like for you? What's your personal blueprint as a human, as a person, as a soul? And how can you actualize that step by step? So, in saying that, where am I at right now? I thought I was farther along than I was. And I'm maybe just a couple 100 feet above base camp right now. And the more you know, you realize that you really didn't know. So I thought I did, but I didn't.
So what does that look like, man, now that you've seen that you are not quite as far up the mountain as you thought? And before we, you know what? Let me I've had enough of these conversations about this mountain thing. It's interesting what you said about there's different mountains, there's different types, different all of that, because what I've started to see is these false summits almost like these things that we think that we want, but really it's just this stepping stone to the next thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, how many businesses, how many of the people that we listen to out there, what they did was they started with one business, they sold that business or that business failed, either one. And then they started another one and another one. And the next thing you know, we got SpaceX and we're trying to get to Mars together, right? And so you say that you're only a few feet above base camp, but I know this isn't the first time that you've set up a base camp. So, what does it look like for you coming back around and setting up a second base camp and then setting out forth and moving forward from there?
So like basically what does the lay of the land look like right now?
Yeah, yeah.
So to give some more context, and I am a very like nebulous fellow at times. So sometimes I gotta be more specific, But to give more like specific description, right now I have a lot of good opportunities working. I actually have the potential to do a lot of cool things. I have some great public speaking gigs going on. I have the potential to speak like almost not year round, like every quarter at some Fortune 500 companies here in California at Silicon Valley, helping like restructure their company values and the way that they run their company so they can be more effective. So that's something that's coming up in the future. And like, I love public speaking. I love my coaching. I love my clients. So all these things are helpful for me, and they're all really, really attractive. So these are big opportunities that are in my sphere right now, but I'm realizing I don't have exactly what it takes to live and be that guy who can do all that and do it well. So that's what I said. Was like, I'm really not that far above base camp. One of my micro mountains is like having a successful like coaching business and being able to help more people at scale and like just do the work and just show up and give the help. That right there is a very, very palpable dream. It's already in its works, but I could really be living that right now. I could be speaking, like every month at these crazy cool companies. Big stuff. It's a big step for me, but I can't do that yet. So what I've found, just like we were talking about earlier, my lifestyle isn't matched up with that right now. I'm not the person I need to be around the clock to do that right now. And you being a dad, I think this speaks volumes to people who are good fathers. You don't really get any off moments, you know? You don't like you basically gotta hold it down around the clock. And as I'm growing up and getting more mature, I'm realizing that there's no such thing as off time. Every moment is an investment. Every second is something you got to do something with. And I'm just trying to burn that into my head right now. Because if I can control my actions, my attitude, my energy around the clock all the time, I can master everything I need to do and be prepared for whatever. But that, the childlike version of me wants to be like, let's just kick it, bro. Like let's take the foot off the gas right now. We could do other stuff. Have that drink. It's cool. Things of that nature. So I have big opportunities in my sphere. I'm trying to step up to reach them. Me and my lady like are super serious. We're getting married sometime next year. We're just like I just have so much to do and so much to provide for that it's very scary looking at it. It's like a little mini mountain in the large scheme of mountains. So I have a lot going on right now, and I want to be able to be the man that can handle it. And as of right now, I'm moving in that direction. But like I said, not there yet. And just becoming a parent, just how much work there is to do, rather than thinking it's going to happen kind of by itself. So I'm pushing harder these days. My body needs to get right. Fitness is important because that's a great asset. I need to feel better, have larger sustainable energy levels, all that.
Man,
I
I
said a lot.
like well, so like I like what you're saying, and I like how you're reflecting on where you are on the climb. I know a lot of people out there that want to do more with the things that they have, and I was just thinking about this today. He caught me right after a hike, so it's where I'm like, whoa, I see things, and I thought about this today. Man, was we are given certain talents, we are given certain abilities, and maybe they do come a little bit later in life where we actually see what those things are. But oftentimes, what I'm noticing is when you're in your 20s, if you are making those mistakes, and what I mean is you're going after the thing you want, you're learning how to do whatever that is, and you make those mistakes. There is something about learning all that then that when you're in my age, 38, life starts looking a little bit more nuanced, if you will. And so I love what you're saying. And I want you to just tell everybody how old you are before we just keep on going with the go around, if you know what I'm saying.
I am 14 years old. I'm just kidding. Oh no. I'm 21 years old on Earth right now. 21.
Bro. So at 21 years old, I was not even thinking about the things you were thinking about, bro. And there's so many people that are 21 right now and they aren't. And so what's fascinating, again, hikes everywhere. I went on this really hard hike the other day, 2,000 meters up, Mount Morrison here in Colorado. I get to the top. There's some dudes with the shirt off. They ain't got no water, nothing. And they're like, bro, you're up here before anybody even woke up today. And this is one of the hardest hikes there is.
Uh-huh.
You got to start giving yourself credit for where you are and the fact that you're even looking at, hey, I've set up a base camp. I have a place to jump from. I am jumping from a place. So that's really cool to see that mindset early on, like what you got going right now. And so, like, if you were gonna tell somebody out there that's in a similar position, that wants to go out and they want to contribute to the world. They feel like they have more. Like, what were some of your starting steps, bro? To, even though
Gosh.
you're not very far,
Uh-huh.
what were some of those steps to get you where you're going, where you at?
I really like how you were saying, like, we get these strengths that God given or like we're kind of endowed with. And then we got to be able to do something with it. Sometimes it's earlier in life, sometimes it's later. But I would say the gifts, if somebody's in any position, let alone in my position, if you want to take any steps forward, your best bet is to not throw yourself into any kind of resistance too fast. What I mean by that is you want to do difficult things, yes, but you don't want to do the hard things first. If you're in a position in life where you're trying to come up in any way, financially, physically, athletically, emotionally, in your relationships, you want to do the easy stuff first because that will build momentum. When you build momentum, you have more force behind you. So it's easier to go up that higher mountain. It's easier to go uphill, right? Rather than starting from zero. So if your goals are at any kind of summit or even just some couple steps up any mountain at all, I love this analogy. It's so good. Summit. You really nailed that one, dog. It's climbing the summit.
Yeah, it really hits home, bro.
So if you're at any point in any mountain and you're trying to get somewhere, man, take the easy steps first. That's how you build momentum. And for me, what that looked like was figuring out where I was already strong at. Where are my strong suits and my strengths right now? What parts of my personality, what parts of my skill set, what inclinations, my ability to learn, my ability to talk, whatever it may be, whatever skills you do have that seem to be better than what other people commonly have. You want to double down on those things and you want to accentuate that before you start throwing yourself into doing new skills. Of course, don't be afraid of learning new stuff, but you want to give yourself a foundation. This does two things. One, get you moving in a direction that you already have like a genetic or maybe personality bias in. Just build that foundation. And number two is that it gives you that self-image and self-confidence that you matter. There's certain things that you can do. And because you feel like, oh, I have these skills that I can do better than other people, those are valuable. I can trust myself that I can perform here. That'll give you an edge and more of a ability to lead into other areas of life. If you've already mastered or if you're really good or even just better at certain things than other people, not only does that give you a talking point, it gives you some sort of purpose, it gives you some sort of value you can bring. It really helps you think to yourself, I can learn other shit too. So that's really where it's at. That's where
Yeah,
you'd start.
I love that, man. I love that. Like, what have you based your thought process? What have you based this off of? Like, I know you're a coach and I know that you help other people, but like, what is that grounded in? Maybe that's the right way we want to put that. Like,
Ooh,
what is that grounded in?
okay. So my biggest thing is like I said, great connector. I want to build blueprints. So the way that my brain works is that I see everything for what it is. I love participating in life and enjoying life, but there's always like at least 50% of me that's in the background observing and watching everything and making notes of like, how did this sound? What happened? What was the sequence of these events? What did this person say? What did I say? I'm building blueprints based on repetitions. So I'm big on science and data. So my thing is, I live as a spiritual being, but that spiritual being plays itself out in repeatable ways, which is science. So when you can merge science and spirituality, which is basically data collected from the past and real life lived experience that you can feel in the moment, when you can put those two things together, you get this dope ass synergy that creates the solution to many problems. So all the things I'm grounded in, I know I'm still being nebulous here, but all the things I'm grounded in right now is basically my whole life is just built on figuring things out. I can't not do this. The reason why I'm a coach and the reason why I have these conversations is because I just don't have a choice. This is how I think. This is my purpose. It's not an activity. I'm not here to be like a coach. That's not my purpose. I'm not a speaker. That's not my purpose. It's a facet of me, but my purpose is to think and figure stuff out and figure out how it works. That's my attitude to life. And that's my foundation. Like I can't turn that off. So to be an understander and then a creator of life. So because of that, I've always looked at life this way, and I just kind of happened to figure things out along the way that seemed to be useful. Just by figuring out patterns, looking ahead, fair bit of intuition and luck, and then really just not being able to ignore signs. You know, some things are just so loud in life that you just can't ignore it. And I feel like my life is just successions of that. Like I just get shown things, people show me things, I learn things so much. And then you just add them to your mental map, and then you just go through life a little bit better. I hope that answers the question.
No, it definitely does, man. It definitely does because I think oftentimes we can get caught in thinking that we have to do it one way or the other. We're thinking that we have to nail it all down early on. But if we're grounded in the fact that we have the ability to connect the dots, right? We have that ability. And if we start looking at the blueprint, if we start really looking at how things work in nature, we start seeing a different um, picture of the reality that we're sitting in front of each and every day. Sit. Yes, I was going to
Yes.
say that, but now I'm not.
You did say it correctly the first time. That was the cool part.
So man, like what do you see for yourself as you're in the current state, like in the current moment? Like what is that next baby step? What was the last baby step? And
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Is that a clear question?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I could get you the last baby step and the next one for sure. And then where it's going. The last baby step was definitely uh just maybe a week or two ago. I decided because I was drinking a lot, and I didn't realize, like I was drinking a lot consistently, so it was like weeks of almost every day. And it's not like I'm getting drunk every day, I'm just drinking. And I really like my cigars, so I'm like having a whiskey and a cigar. And I just didn't realize, because I didn't have any like perspective on it, that how much it was jacking up my performance in the long run and messing up my mornings. I thought I could get by, but it wasn't enough. So then life gave me a couple slaps on the face and said, "Hey, you're getting by, but if you want to go somewhere, then you're going to have to add more fuel to the tank." So so I cut drinking out a lot. Still here and there. Like last night, I was this cool like event, and I had some drinks with people. That was a big first step for me, just because I got comfortable. I got too comfortable drinking. So that was a big baby step there that gave me more energy. It's helping me sleep better. That's great. That also helped me get back into the gym in the morning times. So that's huge also. That's another baby step. Getting into the gym in the morning, like waking up early around 5, even 6 a.m. if you have to. But 5 a.m. is where I'm working at right now, trying to work towards just consistent 5 a.m. wake ups again. So, yeah, wake up 5 a.m., go to the gym, come back, do some cool work. I run a CBD shop over here in my city, and I got to go work that during the days, during the daytime. So I just want to do that, and I have a lot of things going. So that's up for me right now.
Bro, we
Go to the gym,
pause.
wake up.
Pause. What's it like working at a CBD shop, bro?
Oh shit! So basically, CBD is one of the compounds found in cannabis. So there's marijuana, which is one half of cannabis, and then the other half is hemp. You ever heard of like hemp oil, hemp rope, hemp clothes? Hemp is also the plant that produces a flower. And hemp flower is really abundant in CBD, but not a lot in THC. So it's the healing without the high. People come in here a lot, crazy. So chronic pain, sleep, stress, anxiety, arthritis, nerve damage, like we got it all. So it's like the coolest part is you actually make CBD and THC in your body naturally. It's called the endocannabinoid system. Every animal with the spine is making this from birth. So even your
Really?
kiddos are on it. Your dog is on it, bro. You're on it right now.
Wow.
So
Okay.
it's
Okay.
completely natural. Your body knows exactly what to do with it. And that's why it's the best alternative to pharmaceuticals for any kind of disease almost. Not everything, but a lot. But a lot. So
Yeah.
it's completely good. And that's really helpful, bro. So we got this old part of our town from like there's a little like half mile by half mile block in the west of my city called Old Sacramento. I'm here in Sacramento, California. So Old Sac or Old Sacramento is basically the leftover old town from like the early 1800s, and of course they modernized it a little bit, so it looks like old western town. And
Oh
I have a shop
wow.
set up there. A lot of tourists come through, so it's a good location. I don't own the shop, but I'm just like a minority co-owner, but I do run it. So
Oh
I do that in
wow,
the
man.
daytime.
So tell me about like detour. Tell me a little bit about that, man. Like how like you found out so much about CBD, and just tell me about like just what's it like meeting people and then finding out that this is helping them.
Oh man, one of my mentors and friends, Aaron Grove, he put me on. He had a CBD shop here in one of the suburbs of Sacramento called Elk Grove. His thing is Elk Grove CBD. He makes this brand called Maca Sihu. It's a Native American brand that he owns, and I actually have a tincture with me right now. So this right here, this is our most powerful oil tincture. You drop this underneath your tongue. It lasts up to 8 hours in the body, and it's made with 6,000 milligrams of CBD and double distilled peppermint. So this is like
Wow.
each molecule is about 3 nanometers big. Like this isn't the CBD you walk into a liquor store or a gas station and you just grab it off the counter. This is like specialized for medical use. So this is the real deal stuff. And I'm just hearing him. I was working in the back of his shop, helping him do merch and like make new product and assemble things in the back. And I'm hearing him hella sales conversations. I'm like in the back of my head memorizing all the things he was saying. Every single conversation is like, you make THC and CBD in your body. There's these kind of terpenes that create these kind of effects. When you're doing this, this happens. If you have these problems, it corresponds with this. Yes, we can treat Parkinson's and help Alzheimer's with CBD. Anxiety is a form of neuroinflammation. So I'm just hearing all this going on, learning a lot. And that was a couple years ago. And then he came to me with a job opportunity, opened up a new store with his business partner in Old Sacramento. And he said, "Hey, we need a guy to run the front. And I trust you." So I learned a bunch of sales, still am learning a lot of sales training, getting a bunch of in-person sales experience, learning a ton about CBD and helping a lot of people. Oh, so I was like, whether it be their people or their pets, because CBD for pets is huge right now. It's incredible. Like seeing people get away from like narcos and Percocets and going towards something natural, that's cool. Feeling like I have no options, my medicine ain't working, I have an immunity to these Tylenols, my liver's getting messed up, have some CBD, problem solved. And I'm like, that's some new shit right there. Old grannies, 90-year-olds taking this, they don't get high, right? So if they can get over the stigma that this comes from cannabis, it's not even weed, it's from hemp, not marijuana. We don't do any marijuana. If they can get past the stigma, or if they're cool with it, it's life changing. Just makes your quality of life so much better. So
Bro, so
I've been learning a lot there.
how like that's what I was going to ask you actually is when you said that you getting a lot of in-person sales experience, how valuable has that been when you then step into the online world?
Incredible. And I didn't realize how much I needed it. So for anybody in the online world listening right now, dude, if you're trying to close sales in DMs or in Zoom calls, the reason why it's difficult is because you've never actually talked to a person in real life about sales. My online closing game, and I hate calling it closing now because I know what sales is really about. I'm just helping people find solutions to problems. I changed my whole mindset. And all the stuff that we sell in the shop is higher end. Like this one right here is one of our more expensive tinctures. It's $250 for that bottle.
Oh,
And
wow.
people are dropping monies in our store, and I have to convince people that this is not stupid and you're making a good investment, right? So I have to have a combination of knowledge, experience, personal faith in the product, and a lot of that comes from my personal use. And also my girl, she has epilepsy, she has focal seizures, and that's a form of like it's a problems with her like neurons, like basically they're spasming and they're running too fast when she's under stress, so it creates a little short circuit. She's been taking our peppermint oil for the last 8 months, and guess who hasn't had a seizure in 7 months is getting their driver's license next week.
Wow, bro, that's huge.
Yeah, dog, thank you.
That's huge.
So I am a believer in the product. I mean that. And that's why people can feel my sincerity when I talk about it. And I am so comfortable talking about higher prices now that it's like, yeah, it's $250. That's what it is. And because I don't flinch, the customer also doesn't flinch. And some people are like, wow, that's a lot. I was not expecting that much number. I'm like, I totally understand. What does that make you feel like? I'm just so cool talking about money now. So when I'm online talking about like, hey, it's my 5K, 10K coaching package, I'm like, okay with talking about it. Like, it's what it is. So it's huge. I'm learning that people are just people. You're not selling a product, you're helping people find answers. And if you have a good answer, people will pay you money for your answer. That's it. That's it. And just doing that over and over hundreds of times is the best way to learn that. So that's been a huge asset in my journey. I'm grateful to Aaron for letting me do that. Aaron and Ian, business partner. Life is good,
Yeah.
man. Life is good.
Man, you just brought up your coaching packages. Tell us a little bit about your coaching before we get out of here, man.
For sure. Oh man, time flies, does it not? It's crazy. Okay, so in short, what I do is if you're in person in my city, I like to do in-person meetups, but most of my stuff is on Zoom. What we do is we have there's different packages. Basically, I talk to you as a person, figure out what's going on in your life. You think that I can help with something. I see if that's true. If it is true, I'll tell you what I think. I'll give you some advice like, hey, I think this needs to happen, this needs to happen, this needs to happen. So I'll just tell people my advice. First off, I'll just give them my advice without any money. That's my sales conversation, or just a conversation at this point. I'm just helping people. And if they feel like that's a lot to bite off and a lot to chew on, then I'm offering like, hey, I can walk you through the process and my systems of how to do these things on a weekly basis. We can get on a call a week. My higher end package is like 2 calls a week for people who are like either really trying to grow fast and they need accountability twice a week, or somebody who's like really struggling and they need some support twice a week. But usually just a once a week Zoom call over the course of some weeks. Could be 12, could be 8, could be longer. I don't really care about time frame too much. It's more about what result are we trying to achieve, and I'll just keep working with somebody until it happens. It's not like you're 3 months are up, bro. Good. It ain't like that. So I'm actually invested in people. I really like it, and like I said, like I can't do anything else with my life really because I'm kind of addicted to this now. So that's what I'm doing. My coaching is just in person. It's like this. It's conversations like this. There's no, of course, I have diagrams, I have systems, I have stuff I show you, I have like methodologies, but really it's about us talking things through. It's emotional a lot. It's logical a lot. I have people change around their routines sometimes. And like, if you're going to work with me, you're going to have to end up working out at some point. Like, that's just so important. You're just gonna have to. I don't care. You don't have to go stupid in the gym. You don't have to go crazy in there. You gotta get your physical body activated. And I'm not even the most healthy guy. Like I have at least an extra 30 pounds of body fat on me. Okay. I'm not the most like I'm sexy, but I ain't always healthy. So oh, I'm working on that myself. But just getting your body engaged is so good in like curing depression and like getting your mind centered. Anyways, I digress. That's just one little caveat. Okay. I'm not a fitness coach. That's just one little part of what I do, along with all this, like, crazy esoteric knowledge and also practical wisdom and relationship mastery. So I just do life and relationship coaching basically.
Yeah, man. That's cool, man. It's cool to check in with you and hear where you are on your journey to your personal summit. And man, is there anything that you would like to leave anybody that's trying to get started on the journey?
If you're somebody who's trying to get started on your journey, in any journey, It's all good. It all works. There's no wrong way to do things, but there is a wrong way for you and a right way for you. If you don't know the right thing to do, start by avoiding the wrong things and you will find something good by default. And when in doubt, ask other people that have what you want. Don't take advice from people who you wouldn't trade places with. But for people that you know have something going, just ask because they are just like you. And they probably were just like you in your position. So just ask because they're like, oh, cool. It's one of my little homies. He's just coming up like me, reminds me of me. And that has got me through a lot. That's honestly, it's paid dividends. So, like, you're not in this alone. Stop hiding your true intentions. Be your real self. And then be honest about what you want. And then communicate that with other people and yourself. That's my biggest thing right there. So, if anybody's trying to start or move faster, that's what you got to do.
Neeraj, I love that. The great connector on Instagram. Go out, build that blueprint, and just keep climbing. Thank you so much for joining in, my guy. We'll see you next time.